Hi, hello everyone. So with the recent extreme movement in the financial markets, especially in the new economy sectors, have caused a lot of people frustrations. And let's see how to solve this frustration as soon as possible and as effectively as possible through Master Zero's methodology. So now you should know what's causing this trouble. Then you know thyself, you will ever victorious. A lot of people cannot sleep well these days. They are afraid of double losses, means losing their job and have their net worth negatively attributed by the market movement. The worries keep a lot of people awake at night. And then people will wonder what will happen to them tomorrow. Usually 4 questions hovering in their mind. First question, they have a good ride, in most of the time when they play certain sectors, certain stock. But whenever there are turning points, they usually take the hit and get realized lost. Second question is it true that everyone has one lucky asset type? The third question is, the investment cycle has been so violent and drastic. Even professionals we see in the newspaper were crushed by this. How an individual investor can survive? The fourth question. So in the end, is there any possible sustainable solutions? Master Zero recommend 4 steps to take away your frustrations. First step is we should exercise immediate damage control to your worries. Second step, we should search for the root of the problem and get an appropriate solution for each of the problem. Third, we should review one's investment convictions. The fourth step, we should know the key attributes for sustainable asset growth. Step 1, exercise immediate damage control. When you cannot sleep very well at night, obviously there is some problem hovering around your head. If you have convictions that you will register huge losses in your risk assets, you should urgently reassess your absolute loss tolerance limit and take into consideration in the worst case scenario that you both loss of your salary income and also your dividend income from your risk assets. You should take decisive actions to lock in profit or cut losses. In the end, make you feel more comfortable with your financial situation so as to restore your personal assets versus total liabilities balance. As stated in the Drew investment philosophy, there will be investment opportunities available when you have the risk capital and when you have your investment convictions back. Refer to our morphing training video on the Drew investment philosophy. The first query is Usually people would get hit at all the turning points, while in between the turning points for their investment in both stocks and bonds in certain sectors, they have a good ride and have profit. But only when the things turn sour, they register realized loss. My interpretation of the phenomenon is you are a momentum trader, you're running with the crowd without much thinking about the consequence. And you don't have in-depth fundamental conviction on the sector or stocks by yourself. And obviously you have no investment plan established. So the root of the problem, from what I can see, is you do not have your own assessment framework. Query B. Is it true that each one has its lucky asset type? My interpretation for this phenomenon is you should have good experience with certain asset type a while ago, yet you don't have high conviction built up with any asset types, and you don't have adequate basic self-coverage work done for your asset that you own, and definitely you don't have a disciplined investment methodology for review and assessment. So the root of the problem when you have that query is you don't have an in-depth understanding about your own investment. Query C. Why professional investors are crushed and individual investors still can thrive? Is it possible? What I can see from this statement is someone is looking for an excuse for the failure. And obviously, the investor don't have a high conviction, that is right conviction. That means they have wrong high conviction view with the asset. Again, not enough self-coverage work on this asset is done, and they have no established investment review process. The root of the problem is just want to find an excuse to make oneself feel less guilty. It's a kind of psychological compensation. So query D, what are the sustainable solutions? What you are looking at is an investment approach or methodology that work well in all weather, all market situations. And you are frustrated with your existing investment routine and habit, and obviously the investment outcomes. So our answer to the problem is you should adopt our true investment approach, which has been a proven scientific real-life success. Okay, step 3, we understand what's the problem, what's the possible solutions, and then now we go to the step 3, how to wipe out our investment frustrations. And we should know how to rebuild our investment convictions. As our true investment process suggested, you should know your stock, your funds, your asset that you own. You have your own investment assessment on the asset that you own. You have a review discipline and classify different possible rating, buy, sell, or hold for the asset. and then assess in different scenario that what it would be the possible pricing for your assets, so that you can determine the absolute loss limit and how much you should own on certain assets. After all, you will have an optimized investment plan and asset allocations. These are all done in details in our training video. Please search our YouTube website. The last step, so what are the key attributes for sustainable asset growth for an individual? Very highly recommend you should embrace our total wealth concept. We call it a personal aggregate wealth. Personal aggregate wealth should comprise of physical health and mental health, and then your physical wealth. While mental health is so important, we should always feel rich in our heart, and we should have strong mentality to counter vicissitudes in our lives. In conclusions, how to wipe out our frustrations. 3 key takeaways. First thing first, if any investment matters are causing you mental stress, arrest the damage immediately by close up intolerable risk-taking positions. Second key takeaway, no adoption of a disciplined and scientific and proven investment approach causing you no effective way to understand and assess your investment. So you should have one. Third, embrace the personal aggregate wealth concept through adoption of a dual investment approach, not only physical assets, but your health, both physical health and mental health. Thank you for watching, and prefer to look at more details in our training video on our Morphing YouTube channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.